To him, I'm not here to convict you or otherwise. I don't know if you're guilty or not of the charges laid against you. We'll establish that in a trial or otherwise. I mean, it may not even go to trial.
No, it might not.
I mean, it seems to me there's been an interesting relaxing of restrictions against you and your brother, really, from the time you were put in prison at the start of the year. What do you read into that?
Well, if you understand how the Romanian justice system works, again, I have to be very careful what I say. The pressure to put us in jail comes from not organizations. There are many great people who work at organizations like DCOT, which is the organization investigating us, but it comes from individuals, individual prosecutors who I am very much a trophy for, I would say. So the absolute obsession with putting me in jail comes from these people, but these people have nothing to do with judges, you see. At the end of the day, if you investigate me for a year and a half, throw me in jail, drag my name through the mud, eventually you're going to have to come up with a file of evidence and show it to a judge. So the people who keep letting me go are the people who've seen that file of evidence and don't have a motivation to keep me in jail. So that's it broken down as simply as I can.
In the BBC report of the prosecution files, they quote you as saying about the women who worked on your webcam business, I'm going to slave these bitches, I'm going to make them work even more hours and hours and hours. I work these bitches like slaves, slave work, minimum 10 or 12 hours a day.
That is not true at all. So
you never said that?
No.
Or you said it sarcastically?
No, I didn't say it sarcastically at all. That is about my ex-girlfriend cleaning my house. So what you have to understand is when you go through a man's phone, you have 4 years and hundreds of thousands, millions of messages to everyone he's ever spoken to. Now this is about my accusation. So anyone coerced, anyone forced, anyone tied up, anyone kidnapped, anyone sold, anyone moved, none of that is in any of my WhatsApp conversations. But DCOT and the prosecutor essentially can eliminate parts of the conversation that he says are not relevant. Now, if you look at the timings between the messages on all these conversations that look very bad, he's deleting various things, a lot of LOLs and a lot of ha-has, because believe me, if you were to read mine and my brother's conversations, even right now, you could probably accuse me of conspiracy to commit murder because of the stupid things that we talk about. I was talking about...
Conspiracy to commit murder?
I mean, Andrew, I'm going to kill you when I get home. Like things like this, which can be used, in a very negative way.
But now, you accept you've used language about women?
Loads. I've used worse language. But
how do you feel about that? Now it's all been laid bare.
Well, it's very unfortunate that I think this conversation is 3 years old. I think our house was messy after a party, and I was saying, "Oh yeah, she's my slave. Don't worry, I'll get her working."
Do you regret using language like that?
No, I don't, because
really,
well, last week my daughter's mother sent me a photo of her drawing on the wall with crayons. And I said, ha ha ha, I'm going to kill her when I get home. Now, you could delete the ha 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 because you feel that's irrelevant because you're the prosecutor, and you can arrest me and all my friends and throw me in jail for conspiracy to commit the murder of children. You could do that if you wish. But that's not the way I meant it.
No, but I'd ask a different question.
Yes.
I would say when your daughter grows up,
yes,
how would you like it if another man spoke about your daughter by saying, I'm going to slave the bitch, I'm going to make her work even more hours and hours, I work this bitch like a slave. If someone said that and you saw it actually in a message they sent about your daughter, how would you feel?
Well, that's not the best message to have sent, and there's lots of locker
room talk. So you regret it?
I regret that.
You either regret it or you don't.
He do regret it. The way he said it, I believe he regretted it. But in the same time, he doesn't want to admit. No one wish to have you're going to have a daughter, and if a man spoke with her like this, you're going to kill him. It's obviously it's crazy. But the way he said it, maybe he said it, maybe not. But I believe he regretted it, but he's not going to admit for it.
No, I don't. I regret that it became public because, the way men speak to each other, if I were to go through all of your WhatsApp messages, I don't know what I'd find. And I also
you wouldn't mind
if
a man spoke that way about your daughter when she's older, you wouldn't mind? Or you would mind?
Of course I would mind, but it depends on the context of the relationship.
Do you think it's disrespectful?
The girl I was talking about cleaning my house at the time, I'm no longer with her. And also, this conversation is not about anyone who's listed as a victim in the file, which is a very important distinction to make. The girl I was talking about, I was very in love with at the time. I had a very great relationship with at the time. If you say to your girlfriend, oh, come here, I'm going to spank you. That's not, you know, if you're her co-worker or you're a man who's stalking her, it's a very different context to if you're her boyfriend.
The problem is that in the context of what you've been accused of...
Yes, the prosecutor can make it look bad.
This looks damning.
Of course, but what he doesn't do is he doesn't show the whole conversations to any judge. That is a carefully manipulated and edited and actually constructed conversation, as all of the conversations are.
This whole lover boy thing, right? The suggestion is that you and Andrew, basically, you're two good-looking, fast-talking, smart guys, right? And you've, you know, have plenty of money and you've enjoyed yourselves, fine.
Yes.
And that you've managed to, deliberately or otherwise, but the suggestion is deliberately, persuade a lot of women to fall in love with you very quickly, and then you use that relationship and how they feel about you to then guide them towards making money from webcams.
Well, that's interesting. Of the 7 women that you've listed, none of which we can name, do you know how many of them ever worked at my old webcamming business I had many years ago? Of the 7 victims listed, how many of them were in any way related to any of the activities I did when I ran a webcam studio? The answer, Piers, you'd be surprised to know, is 0. People on the internet, I call them Twitter detectives. Not the police, not DCOD, not even...
It's just I don't understand why they're going after him because of a webcam studio. At this one I didn't get it. Literally there is OnlyFans everywhere and everyone have an account in it. So I don't know why they're going after him because of a webcam studio. It seems weird.
This over-ambitious prosecutor, because there are webcam studios all over the city, has tried to make any criminal complaint about that small business.
People just need to work their mind, that's all. Work your mind. Think. Do not see and say what they are saying. No, think a little bit. As I follow them, I follow Andrew Tate and Tristan, so I'm familiar with the message. But for the webcam studio, like, they are going after them for webcam that literally everyone have an account now on OnlyFans. Girls or men. So why now it's good and when they did it, it's not good? It's all about the money. Yeah, so it's all about the money. OnlyFans or webcam studio that they had, it's all about the money. So no one cares.
That me and Andrew, as he said, dipped our toe in. I was mainly running it, to be fair, all those years ago. None of these people who are alleged victims today have anything to do with the webcam studio. But if you watch clips on Twitter, when we speak as a 24-year-old, vulgarly, oh yeah, you know, I'm pimping because I'm in the club with a bunch of girls. You know, when we speak that way, it's easy to say, oh, look, he's admitted, he's confessed to his crimes. The old webcam studio and the current investigation have 0 strings in between them. So the question in and of itself doesn't make sense, if you understand that.
You could face further time in jail if you're convicted of these offences, a long time in jail. You were in jail earlier this year. What was that experience like for you?
Jail was, you know, when you're going through something really difficult and it's almost unbearable, whether it be a difficult gym session or, you know, a major setback, and you come out after it's finished, and the moment it ends, you're like, yeah, I'm glad that happened. Jail was hell every single day. But the moment we got that phone call saying a judge who's now seen the evidence that they've allegedly raised against you has decided to release you, I was very happy for the experience. I'm very happy I spent 3 months living in those conditions.
What did you find out about yourself?
I didn't find out anything new. I feel like it was my opportunity to show to myself and to my brother and to the world that I am the man who I say I am. I always preach being mentally strong, physically strong. You know, I put on this tough guy persona, but I don't think it's a tough guy persona, because if I can survive 3 months in a Romanian prison without incident, without tears, without being upset.
You didn't shed any tears?
I did not in jail.
Did you know that Andrew had?
I believe that Andrew's tears were tears of anger. He was more angry than I was. Whereas me and Andrew are very balanced. We have a very balanced relationship. We keep each other in check. When he's angry, I calm him down. When I'm angry, he calms me down. I believe Andrew was a lot angrier at the situation. Andrew knew a lot less about the situation. I can at least read some Romanian. I was trying to make sense of it all. He was sitting there in pure frustration.
But they're serious criminal charges.
Well, they're serious criminal charges. But what I would say to you is, what is the serious criminal evidence? So again, this is from I'm going to work this for hours. It's about a girl cleaning my house, by the way. So this is the big bombshell. The BBC, because I don't know how they got the indictment, but the indictment should be private. I'd love to give you a copy. I really would. But the criminal indictment isn't what the prosecutor says I've done. It's the evidence against me. So if the BBC have read their grubby little fingers through all of this evidence and all the files, and the worst thing they have to come at me with is, Tristan, you said this girl's your slave. I've said that. I've said worse things.
Have you ever coerced women?
No, I've never coerced anybody into doing anything they don't like.
Do you accept that, I mean, as I said to Andrew, that some of the language, even in the things he tweets now, suggests that his idea of how women should be treated is that they effectively are a form of slave to a man?
You know, Piers, I really like you, and I sometimes feel you fall for Andrew's little traps, and it's really wonderful to watch, because it's not the things he says, it's the way he says them, and the way he says them can get people very...
Actually, that's true. You know, if another one, like, I don't know, but the first guy I heard who's saying this is Andrew Tate, so I don't know. A lot of other guys may be preaching for the same thing. But anyway, all I'm saying here is that if another one say the same things as Andrew is saying, it's not gonna hit the same. I don't know what about this guy. You don't know. Maybe because he's flexing too much, because he have a bigger impact, because he have a bigger followers. You know? So sometimes it just make me like going crazy, you know? You don't understand. Let's just focus on the interview for now.
Riled up. When I was sitting listening to your interview about women shouldn't work and be taken care of, etc., it actually took me back about 12 or 13 years to an interview I saw, I can't remember, I think it was on ITV, with the late Christopher Hitchens. You probably knew him.
I did.
By the way, as a Muslim, the thing that he's saying is true, but not the woman shouldn't work. The woman, if she wants, she can. If she don't, she also can. If she don't, she don't. It's her choice. If she say, yes, I want to work, say, okay, no problem, you can work. But if she say, no, I don't want to work, I want to stay home, raise the children, yes, okay, you can also do that. But a husband in Islamic way, he's the head of the house, and he gonna take care of the house. That's how it's made. So for the woman, she can take care of the children, but if she decide to go to work, she can work also. So this is how we see the things.
I did not know Christopher Hitchens. I think he died way before I became relevant. But he was sitting there with this female journalist, and he's saying, his exact words were, oh, I don't want Mrs. Hitchens to be coarsened in the labor market. Why would I want my women coarsened in the labor market? No, if she's with me, she can work if she wants, but she doesn't have to. Now, he was not
exactly, she doesn't have to.
He was actually hailed as an intellectual in his time. I read all of his books. I used to be a big fan of his. But he said exactly the...
The only way they didn't hit him like they hit Andrew, because he's not famous. And he's not preaching the same message. He just said what he felt to say. That's all. But Andrew is saying he's against every agenda there, and he's preaching for it. He's taking big advantage. He's taking big followers. So of course he's gonna bother them. Of course. And by the way, sorry for my English. I don't speak very well English. So I go Arabic or French, but English I'm not that good. But anyway. At least I understood what they are saying.
The same thing Andrew said. Exactly the same thing with different
not a publicity,
intonations,
it's
different
just
tones. And you probably knew him. You didn't attack him back then for saying that, did you? But Andrew
Well, I'm not here to judge.
He could get people riled up.
Christopher Hitchens is no longer with us, sadly. He was a brilliant man in many ways. I disagree with him about many things, but he's not why I'm here, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it just seems to me that the rhetoric, particularly by Andrew, but also some of the stuff they found with you, the way...
That's all for today. So this is all for today for the reaction. We're gonna follow the rest of the rest. We're gonna do the other parts in another time. For now, I'm a little bit tired. I just wanted to record this reaction because, you know, I just wanted to. But I'm really tired. So, toxic couple. See you next reaction for the part